Welcome back. The die appears cast for the next governorship battle in Nigeria. It is in Anambra, in the southeast. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed November 6 for the conduct of the governorship election. To elect a successor to Governor Willie Obiano, whose two-term tenure expires on the 17th of March 2022. So let the race begin. Gentlemen, in the last 12 years, I've been covering Anambra election. Back to back, the dynamics. Now, as at the last one was that Peter Obi and Willie Obiano, Peter Obi, the president, the governor that was there before, he actually pleaded that people should allow Willie Obiano to succeed him. At that time, the Ojukwu card was played, and Ojukwu said, "This is my last will. Please, my people, grant my last wish." I remember that time. So Abga came strong, so strong. So Abga took over Anambra State 8 years ago. And Willie Obiano fell out with Peter Obi. Peter Obi is now back in PDP. And another strong party in Anambra State is the All Progressive Congress. Last time they fielded Chief Prince Tony Nwoye. And we also have the minister, a godfather in Anambra politics, Chris Mbube, Minister of Labour there, from the All Progressive Congress. We also have, people like Arthur Eze, the strong man of, and not even forgetting this very strong woman, Senator Uche Ekwunife from the People's Democratic Party. It's surely going to be a very, very interesting election.
You also have the Kweme factor, don't forget. It was very influential. You have elders like Emeka Anyoko. Even though they are political, but these are people that, people watch their movement. And you also have the traditional rulers. Some of them have had, they had a run-in, but they had a brush with the governor last year. And so they are not happy. A lot of people are not happy. Some towns are divided. Like in Gigestown, there are two traditional rulers. They are divided.
In our law?
Yes, in our law. Yes, there are two traditional rulers. So these things, and people are blaming, some are blaming Peter Obi, some are blaming the current governor Obiano for the crisis. But you see, the fact of the matter is that Anambra has come to a very, very crucial point where definitely I believe the people will, like they say on the street, will shine their eyes, and decide on the kind of person they want to be the next governor. Because, insecurity is a major problem. Jobs are needed, a lot of graduates, a lot of school leavers who need jobs. Then development. People are accusing Obiano of lopsided development. Certain areas are left undeveloped. The roads, people are asking about the roads. They're asking him, Obiano, show us your infrastructural projects. He's talking about the cargo airports. But when you have a place like Nnewi, you have roads that are riddled with potholes, and then you wonder, is there a state government here? So definitely there's certain things need to be done. A governor that is inclined to infrastructural development, industrialization, job creation, and security of lives and property.
Okay, I think I'll take you back to Washington, D.C. now for the inauguration.
And freedom for all. Yet we resolutely commit still more now to renewing the vision, to caring for one another in word and deed, especially the least fortunate among us, and so becoming a light for the world. There is a power in each and every one of us that lives by turning to every other one of us, a thrust of the Spirit to cherish and care and stand by others, and above all, those most in need. It is called love, and its path is to give ever more of itself. Today, it is called American patriotism, born not of power and privilege.
From Washington, D.C. there, immediately after the program, we'll come back for the inauguration of the 46th President of the United States of America. Babajide, Anambra politics. One man, 4 years ago, his name kept reverberating, and his name is like one of the leading contenders now. the former CBN governor, Professor Charles Soludo. So when we look at the political dynamics, do you think it might favor Soludo?
Well, it all depends on who he comes up against. The truth is, ABGA is inclined to go for zoning and zone the
to Anambra South.
Zone the contest to Anambra South. You know, Obi came from Central Ngige, also from Central Obiano,
From North.
From
Anambra North. But Mbadinoju, who did just
South,
one term, came from Ihiala, and they served for just 4 years. So the preponderance of opinion is that it should go
To the south.
to the south at this time. And the governor appears to have made up his mind to settle for Soludo. The PDP have strong candidates like Ezimo and Chris Azubogu. Chris is a member of the House of Reps. He's done 3 terms in the House of Reps, so he's quite strong. The interesting thing about the politics of Anambra is that when it comes to the governorship election, they go local. National Assembly election, they go national. ABGA is seen as the local party there and the party to beat, and it still remains strong. ABGA won 28 out of the 30 seats in the House of Assembly. The remaining 2 are won by the PDP. And ABGA, of course, also won the governorship election. But the National Assembly elections have always been dominated by the PDP.
PDP and
Yes.
the presidential election.
And you see the national, yes, and the presidential election, PDP always wins. PDP still has Ekunefe in the race. I think she's going to contest this time around. And we have people like Dr. Godwin Maduka, George Obiora, you know, and
Obiora
so APC too has people like George Moralu from Nnewi North, John Bosco. It promises to be an interesting contest, but I think that with the PDP is a bit stronger now because of the influence of Peter Obi at the national level. Peter Obi has established himself as a big force to reckon with in the PDP, and is the one who is actually driving the PDP in Anambra at this time. So for the PDP faithful, they believe that this is their year to take control of that state. But politics is by nature local. ABGA, with an incumbent governor and all the resources at his disposal, is still the party to beat. Yes, the governor has issues with the Catholic Church in the state, but don't bet against him resolving his differences with those religionists before the election happens. So we look forward to a very interesting contest, right from the primaries, which will hold between June and July.
Now, ABGA is not, what Jide said is debatable. ABGA is not as strong as it used to be before. We know Obiano and Chief Victor Ume, they are not on the same page again. They hardly see the internal politics, the big boys within ABGA, they are not together again.
Yeah, you see, it's also a major factor. People are wondering, will the governor defect to APC? But
really,
for him, yes, of course. If you recall the 2019 election, President Buhari scored 25% in Anambra. Really? You know, which was surprising. Yes. So now, if you look at it, that was a strong showing. You know, then again,
President Buhari was also very fair in
the last election in
Anambra State.
Now the governor, to all intents and purposes, prefers Soludo. We want Soludo to succeed him. But the issue is now Soludo is on the committee appointed by President Buhari, an economic advisory committee appointed by President Buhari. Obiano wants him to run on the ticket of ABGA. So what might happen is that Obiano may have to now move to APC and collapse the APGA structures into APC, because during the presidential
Would that
election,
be more viable than the APGA structure?
well, he may not have any choice. He may not have any choice. APGA is local. APGA is strong. Is local. But the thing is that in APC, you also have strong contenders. You have somebody like the person I mentioned, Dozenwanko, for instance, a well-known industrialist who has said he wants to industrialize Anambra. Then you have Ifeanyi Ubah, who, there's stuff that he wants to provide. He wants to provide 2,500 jobs for youths. The talk is all over the place. So you have a lot of
senator.
Yes, Ifeanyi Ubah from Anambra South. So a lot of these things, a lot of these factors will come into play. And the issue is this: Soludo should also tread carefully, because if there's a backlash against the governor, it might rub off him. It might work against him. And the other candidates are watching to see what happens. Then the issue of the Chief Atoize is very strong. Of course, he is somebody to contend with. You cannot wish him away. Yes, the Ozo Ibundu, that's his traditional title. So he's very at home with the people. He's very much at home with the people, with the traditional rulers, with opinion leaders in Anambra State. So, and here the governor at daggers drawn. But of course, politicians, they could easily reconcile. But the fact of the matter is that the governor doesn't have that influence he used to have before. His brush with traditional rulers last year.
The thing about incumbency, I've seen where incumbency works a lot.
And the word also fails.
After northern Nigeria, there's nowhere else where I've seen incumbency work like the East. You could ask yourself, how come in Abia, despite the evident non-performance of the government, how come they always win the election? Yes. How come they always win the election? You will not give them a chance. You think, this thing will slip through their fingers. But at the end of the day, they will still manage to win. We all felt that Obi will be able to stop Oba enough from getting a second term. There are people who analyze that, no, with the gang up, he's going to fail. But that thing called incumbency, especially when you are dealing with someone who knows how to use it, you cannot wish it away in politics. In all the 178 communities in Anambra State, APGA still remains very much on ground. So, and once you're on ground, and politics is local, it's not a national election that they are contesting for, then you fancy your chances of winning. All of these other candidates, they will only be enabling at each other's votes. And APGA, with their as one party, having to fight against the numerous parties, because this guy is in YPP, the senator.
Yeah.
But he's inclined to APC. He's inclined to APC, and he may switch.
But
and don't forget, in Gombe State, the former governor had all the structures of PDP and everything, but he was. His candidate was picked up by APC.
No, they had their crisis. Okay. He tried to impose a candidate. Yeah. They told him, and at the end of the day, the PDP lost all elections in that state. Even he contested for Senate, he lost.
He lost. Yes.
So it's a different scenario. When the people turn against a party, whatever candidate is up there, that person will lose.
Okay, let me take you back to DC now, where the first vice president of color.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.